Hi, welcome to our channel, Gluten-Free and Me. Today we are going to share our focaccia bread recipe with you. We took a recipe that we sort of liked and we tweaked it a whole bunch to make it really likable in our family. So we're going to show you how to do that today. We're starting off with, I did it this way instead of showing you all the flours in one container. So today we've got 2 cups of brown rice flour. I happen to use organic brown rice flour. I don't know why, it just seems softer. Could just be in my head, I don't know, probably. I've got a half a cup of tapioca starch and a half a cup of sorghum flour. And you can use, or sweet sorghum flour. Sometimes you find it sweet. You can use either. In this little guy here, we have 2 teaspoons of xanthan gum and 1 teaspoon of salt. And we're supposed to combine that a little bit. And right in this mixing bowl, we have our yeast mixture. We have 1 3/4 cup of warm water. Remember, as I've said in my other recipes, do not do it too hot. You don't want to kill your yeast. But our sugar to yeast ratio today is 2 teaspoons of sugar to 2.5 teaspoons of active yeast. Now that is about the equivalent of one of those packets of active yeast, so you can use that packet. I always have a lot of yeast because we make bread all the time. But to 1 3/4 cup of warm water, your 2 1/4 teaspoon of active yeast and 2 of sugar. We just did this recipe last week and it rises a decent amount, but there's not a lot of yeast, so you're not going to have this big mammoth focaccia. So obviously, remember like the last time, if you want a big mammoth focaccia, then you need to make more of it, of a yeast ratio to sugar ratio. Okay, now in the recipe that my daughter tweaked a little bit, we're going to add our 1 egg to this. And we're adding our olive oil to the yeast mixture. So our olive oil, and I always use my mom showed me this. This is the greatest little concoction. Look at this, olive oil. I fill this up almost every other day because we use a lot of olive oil. But this is the greatest and the easiest way to measure this little concoction. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I used extra virgin olive oil, that's what I usually use, but you can use anything. Okay, and that is into our yeast mixture. Now the recipe calls for you, much like a lot of these that you want very well combined, you want to add the flour a little bit at a time, okay? So let's go on over to our mixer, which mine is loud, so bear with me, it is loud. We're going to use the dough hook. And I'll make sure lock it down, because that would be really funny. Been there, done that. Okay, and I will start off with, let's scoop out some of that flour for you. And gradually I will mix it in like this. And if you don't want to watch this boring process, come back to me in just a second and I'll show it to you all mixed up. Alrighty, we're done. So the dough hook, just you want it to incorporate all the ingredients together. You know, you can use a paddle. I guess if you're just watching it carefully and sitting there, you probably could use a paddle, but bread, dough hooks, they kind of go hands in hand. We continually scraped the sides and incorporate it, so it's well incorporated. Okay, so anyway, we have a 9 by 12. This is a 9 by 12, and we oiled it. And so we're gonna put focaccia right in there. Now, any focaccia bread that you've seen or eaten, I'm sure, has been kind of rustic looking. And that's what we want. But we also want to be able to put our olive oil and our seasonings on top. So we want it to like still have some nooks and crannies, so to speak. So what I do, get your hands in it. You know, you wash your hands. It's your family. You know, spread it out. If you're working in a restaurant, wash your hands, wear a glove. I don't know, but at home, It's your family. So you want to spread it out, but I'm kind of goofy, and I will kind of like give it some divots and stuff so that it has that rustic look. And then again, the nooks and crannies of the oil and the seasoning have a place to land. So here we go. And there's our focaccia bread. And what seasoning my lovely daughter has come up with is 1 teaspoon of rosemary, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. We used the fine garlic powder, not the granulated today. And we have 1 teaspoon of dried basil and 1 teaspoon of sea salt. And we're gonna use, of course, you know, my olive oil, 1 tablespoon. So, let's put those, mix those up, spray our olive oil. Now, okay, so you're gonna say, well, I don't think that olive oil went as far. Is it bad to add more olive oil? No. Of course you can add more olive oil. It's your preference. If you want another flavoring, add another flavoring. This is what we used. Maybe you like oregano. You want to add some oregano. I don't know why. I don't really care for oregano unless it's on my pizza, so my family kind of has to put up with that since I'm one that usually is baking. So, okay, so we're putting our herbs on. And now, guys, we're going to set the oven at 250 and let this sit in there and rise a little bit. You can also let it rise before you put it in the pan. Absolutely. Let it rise for 30 minutes in your bowl if you want to. It's all preference. I mean, usually I'm in a rush. I own a food business, and I'm, you know, kind of, when I get home, I just want to get feeding the family. So there's our herbs. We're going to put it in the 250 oven, let it rise for maybe 10-15 minutes, okay? Then I'm going to preheat the oven again to 350, and then we're going to cook it at 20 minutes till it's golden brown, okay? Okay, so you know what? While that's rising, I want to show you something that I'm doing for my family tonight with that focaccia bread. And I figured I might as well show it to you. Garlic. Elephant garlic. I don't know if you've ever seen this. You can use the little garlic bulbs, but my family loves this, and we do this a lot on the holidays when we're making fresh bread and things like that. But this elephant garlic, roasting it in the oven for on a 350 oven for about 45 minutes is absolutely amazing. We're gonna cut it. The stem in the middle of an elephant garlic is hard, and it might fall apart like mine is, and that's okay. Don't freak out. It's okay. This guy, you might want to just pull him out. You just take the tops of the elephant garlic off. Nice sharp knife. Kind of with a lean against each other, okay? And we're going to smother them in olive oil and some salt. And we're going to, I like to cover them in the very beginning. I'll set my timer for like 25 minutes. And then I'll uncover it. And if it needs a little bit more oil, I might tweak it if I see that it's not getting as soft as I care for it. But then I continue to bake it for maybe, that, like I said, another 20 to 25 minutes. And when you're done, all you need to do, again, you can use the elephant garlic or you can use the small bulbs. It's okay. You can pop that garlic out and use it as a spread. So good. Oh my goodness. Everybody loves it here. So you should try it with your family. And so the elephant garlic is kind of cool because it's just gigantic and it's like a novelty. So that's why it's really fun on holidays. And put that garlic in there. It doesn't matter. And I used a pan that probably was a little too big. I have a smaller one. I'll probably transfer it. But anyways, just to show you now. Olive oil, drizzle all over the top. Get it all over. Get the top, get the skins. It's all good. And then do your salt, your sea salt. Cover it with your tin foil. 350, and you'll have some spreadable garlic. Cool! The focaccia came out great. I wish you guys could smell it, but when you try the recipe, you'll smell exactly what I smell. It looks awesome. It's golden on top, firm, and it is rockin' delicious. Now, my garlic, since that was only, what did I say, 20 minutes? My garlic still needs another 20 minutes or so, and guess what? It needs a little bit more oil. So we're putting it back in, but you too will love this recipe with the fresh garlic spread on top. So enjoy it and happy baking.